When I first became interested in metal shaping was actually when I was probably 7, 8 years old, and I was in my dad's garage, and I started doing things from scratch. And my dad, he made lots of stuff from scratch, take raw material and made stuff, but I bend some sheet metal, but I could only bend it over a bench, or I could bend it over a pipe or in a vise, but I couldn't bend it 3-dimension. And I said to myself, it must be another way to do it. Instead of making dies, male and female die, and stamping the parts, it must be possible to do it by hand actually, or with some equipment, but do it instead of stamping it. And it was. So I started my business 1991 in Sweden, and to restoring cars. That was my goal to do. And I restored, did the sheet metal work on a Maserati Ghibli in 1971, and some American cars, Crown Victoria, 59 Sunliner, Volkswagen Beetle convertible. But anyway, then I built a 33 Roadster from a 4-door. And that was the start for my metal shaping classes that I started 1996. And I have done it now for 20 years this year. For several years I have been telling my students that they could use what they learned in metal shaping and my technique in metal shaping, what they could use it for so much more than making cars or repairing cars, patch panels and stuff like that, or for motorcycles or airplanes. They can use it for furniture, they could use it for so much more. But then one day it clicked that, I should make a piece of art. And what should I make? And here I came up with an idea to make a piece of art of the most famous car in the world, and it's the most beautiful car as well. And the more I worked on this project, the more I actually loved the shape of the car. It's just gorgeous. And today I can actually sit and watch this piece of art for 30 minutes, an hour, and I still can't take my eyes off from it. But I need to go and do something else. But I really enjoy to look at it. So I think I choose or pick the right car model for this project, a piece of art. So for me to make this piece that you see behind me here, first of all, to make it, I don't know exactly in hours, because I enjoy to make it. So I have done this piece of art just because it was fun to make it. So I don't have the hours, how long time it took me. But I know how many years it took me to be able to do this. And it took me over 40 years of practice metal shaping and learn more and more and more. And now when I have all this stuff, now I was able to do this piece of art of a 250 GTO Ferrari. The reason why I made this half of a car is that I could make the whole body, but it's not fair to Ferrari, and it's not fair to those people that have one of those 32 cars, the real cars. It's not fair to make a clone car, and it's always going to be a clone car. So for me, it makes no sense. It didn't feel right for me to make a clone car, but to make a piece of art of the most famous and most beautiful car in the world, that's a whole another story. It's more an honor for me to show people that I can do this of the most beautiful car in the world. the reason why I built this half piece of art of a sports car in aluminum is that, first of all, they was made in aluminum from the beginning, because Enzo Ferrari, he wants them to be as fast as possible on the track, so he made them as light as possible. And so to make it in steel, I could have done that too, but that wouldn't be, it would be harder also to polish it up in steel. A little easier to maybe weld and work and put the pieces together in steel, but aluminum, it's a little more difficult. But a car like this, or a piece of art like this, must be in aluminum. It must be that. And I'm glad that I did half of the car and I polished it up, polished aluminum. I never seen a 250 GTO polished in aluminum before, so this is the first one. So to be able to shape all the metal for this piece of art, I used an English wheel, and I used a bead roller, and I used the shrink and the stretcher. And of course hands tools, hammer and dollies, a TIG welder. But all the shapes are done in the English wheel, the bead roller and the shrink and stretcher, which I also producing and selling. So the most difficult part on the project, I will say, is probably would be easier to make the whole body than making half the body. But I didn't had any issues to make the parts at all. I wasn't struggled with any parts. The parts came out really good the first time. But a project like this is, the hardest part was to have a 0 point where I start putting the first piece on, because I made a jig where I could set the door where that door should be, and then I built everything from the door forward and to the back and then to the roof. So the door was the first 0 point that I could start with, and from there I could measure out where I should be. But the hardest part was probably to put this piece on this cart where the half body sits, and to move the body over there, and all that stuff to figure out the cart and the body together where they merge and it comes together as one piece of art. That was the most difficult piece to make. I want people to see this piece of art of this 250 GTO Ferrari model from 1963. I want them to see the beauty of this art as I see. And I'm pretty sure that people really like to see something like this in bare metal. And I haven't seen anything like this in bare aluminum, polished aluminum, in that scale before, because this is full size. It's not a smaller one, it's a full size. And I want people to open their eyes for this new type of art that I'm going to make more of in the future. Different models, because I like the shape. Take a flat piece of metal and make it into something like this beautiful. So the future for me is to actually make more art stuff, because I enjoy it so much. I really had lots of fun making this project. It was not like a job. It was fun, and I must control myself to stop in the end of the day and actually go home, because I could just continue to do it. But what I would like to do, I would like to make 2 more of this, and that's it. It's going to be a very limited edition of all kinds of different art stuff that I'm going to make. and you don't know what it's going to be. It can be science, it can be furniture stuff, it can be another half car of another model. One that I would like to do is, because I'm born 1959, and I would like to make a 1959 Testarossa. For me, that one is the optimal race car, and I think I remember those when I was a little kid and had those Corgi Toys cars that we was playing with, and that was a race car, and a race car was amazing in those days. And for some reason the Ferrari have always been a Ferrari for me, but I never could afford one. But at least now I have a half piece of art. My creativity, I think I'm 100% sure about that, but it came from my mom and from my dad, because my mom, she did crochet, she took raw material and she created something. And my dad, he was a plumber, but he made stuff from raw material as well. He made a camping wagon, he made all kinds of different stuff from nothing. And my grandfather, he was a carpenter, and he also made stuff from nothing, from raw material. And I think that's the very, very important thing that my parents gave me, and I'm so thankful for that, because as a child growing up, seeing your parents do that, that's what we think it's going to, the way to do it in the future, to take raw material and make stuff. But a lot of kids growing up today, they don't see that. They don't even know that you can make it from scratch. So my inspiration, my creativity came from my parents, and I saw that they did all that stuff, and that's where it came from. The reason why I put up video on YouTube is that it's so much tips and tricks that I can't charge people for. But if I can help other people out there all over the world, that is good for me. It's good for all those people that watching my videos on YouTube. And I have my own YouTube channel, and I have 135 videos, something like that, on there now, and it's free for people. And I inspire people to do all kinds of different stuff and actually start making stuff from raw material again, and who knows what they're going to come up with. And I got feedback from so many of my students over the years, over 20 years, and it's amazing stuff that they actually have made. So my message to all you guys out there that are subscribers on my YouTube channel, or if you just saw me the first time, or if you took my hands-on classes, or if you bought any books or DVDs, or if you learn my technique and you like what you have learned so far, go out and do something. I hope this project behind me here inspire you to go out there and do something. And remember, don't try, do it. And another thing also, you can't fail. You keep that in mind, because all we do is producing a result. The result maybe is not going to be what we want, but we're still producing a result. And if you do one thing and you are not happy with the result, you know that the next one you're going to make, the result's going to be better because you learn. So every day is a school day, and go out and do it and use what I have taught you. Thank you.